Yeah. I'll give you guys a bet. You guys can waste some channel points away with each other. Have fun. Clem's in the top right and Astrea's in the top left. Let's see what these two will bring to the table, as this is just a battle for map score, but like I say, it could be a very important battle for map score, all things considered, further down the line. Definitely potentially important. Like I say, it's just one of those matches that can make the difference, so let's see what goes down. Astrea obviously still out in Korea, in the foreigner house in Korea. Still playing over there and improving and looking fantastic generally. Clem? Yeah, a little bit of a shaky DreamHack, right? Especially in TvPs, but still somehow made the winner bracket of the playoffs in DreamHack, and that's kind of incredible with the results that had to happen for that to take place. So, yeah, somehow the stars aligned for Clem, and maybe if nothing else, the stars will align for him today. Clem Astrea is usually a very fun series. They played a great series in Home Story Cup as well, right? In the top 3 or so. That was also really cool. Yeah. Probe and SCV gonna continue to fight against each other, have a bit of a battle. And the Reaper and the Orbital on the way up from Clem. As he gets set up here, Cybercore, Nexus, Probe, all of that continuing through. And Astrea will move from the natural to the main. Just trying to see what's up. It is just that CC. It's not any factory first play or anything along those lines. As we get this up and running. He gets the probe. That's kind of the problem with the probe scouting all the way through to the back here, so now you don't get to keep that probe alive. So there's one thing you're missing out on that you might have liked to have otherwise in the game. You see the robotics facility is coming online here on the side of Astrea, so he's going to open with a robo, which is not always the norm for PvT. Oftentimes we're talking Stargate or we're talking Twilight. Robo is probably the least common tech to open with. It's going to keep you very safe, potentially get a lot of units out if needed. You know, and just get a Prism out to harass. Clem loses the Reaper, which is a shame because he didn't get the information he was looking for before that Reaper went down. So he's missing info which he deems kind of necessary. You can see on his, you know, he could definitely see there that he was definitely a little upset about the Reaper dying. Knew that that probably shouldn't have been allowed to happen. Knew that that was absolutely on him as well, just making the mistake getting too close to that adept. So a little awkward. Straight up Immortal from Astrea. Wow. I mean, this feels like Astrea wants to go and kill Clem. Right? I mean, an Immortal straight away? That really is kind of aggro, yo. Yeah, 3 more gateways, so we're just going to go for like an Immortal bust and try and just take advantage of the fact that Clem is kind of just expanding quickly in this game. He saw the in-base expand. Hoping that Clem just doesn't have the proper defenses set up. Maybe lean in a little bit too heavily, perhaps, as well, on the idea of, oh, well, I've got the in-base expand, so I don't need to defend as much, right? I'm a little bit safer. And if Astrea can take advantage of that, then, well, brilliant, right? Thumbs up. See if that may be a possibility as we get ourselves settled. It's going to be seeing the Adept coming through to the top and just getting some scouting info, but, well, one Immortal up. All of these gateways continue to power into play here as well, and Clem, he just doesn't know about it. Here's our Prism, here's our Immortal. Where are we going to warp in? Well, this is a brave start, but actually if you get rid of the Cyclone with the Immortal, it could be a good start. He actually has the Cyclone lock-on now already used, which means that you actually do get the warp in straight away. Just warps in a bunch of Zealots for the moment. Astrea doesn't really have too much gas to spend on other units as we begin to fight, and honestly, a lot of SCVs going down, but he's just got to be careful about his next warp in. You can't do it too close to the front, because obviously then the Marines can maybe target down the Prism. As soon as, you know, it's actually really cool, because as soon as the Cyclone lock-on gets used, that's when he recommits to the Prism sieging up for the warp in. And I think that's absolutely perfect, right? Because then you're going to have less DPS to really make that work, and you know, the control so far from Astrea has been great. He will target fire down the Immortal here with the Marauder, with the Immortal. And our Zealot's still just tanking nicely at the front. And a lot of SCVs going down to defend this so far. If Clem survives, only having a Robo and all this gateway investment does leave Astrea in a weak position. There's no blink, there's no Stargate units or any of that. And then Clem might be able to overrun and have a great time. Is Clem going to survive? He's keeping a lot of Marines alive. Stim is getting very close to finishing. I mean, Stim, Marines, and a bunch of medevacs may just be all Clem needs. I've seen Clem do a lot more with a lot less, quite frankly. Stim is seconds away. And Astrea must be feeling that as well, as there it is, finishing. And Stim activates. These Zealots start to melt a little bit. The Widowmine, unfortunately, kind of running a bit too far forward. A lot of Zealots kind of just derping, doing their own thing in the background. Not that more Zealots chasing the Marines would have made much difference, but might have had something of an impact. An extra round of Zealots warp in, and Clem needs to keep this Marine production up. He needs to keep these churning out right now. Saving this barracks on the top side, and going to stim one more time. And Medevac's almost drained of energy, as we are going to pull a few SCVs, and these SCVs continue to chase. Prism gets an extra warping going. The Marines still just standing strong and fighting. Now going to go for the Prism! Didn't get enough Marines in range. Immortal saved at the very least, and can probably save a few Zealots as well. So credit to Astrea, still playing very well here, all said and done. As we do see Astrea evacuating as many units as possible, and Clem is going to go on the front for the Prism, though he's going to get it! Astrea losing out, and Clem is turning this into one of those defenses where it did begin to look like all hope was lost, but at the last moment kind of clutches out. And like I say, back at home, what does Astrea have? Only just now taking extra gases on his natural. He really doesn't have much of anything. He's got some Stalkers here that are unupgraded, right? So, not even exactly brilliant. The greatest news for them is that these Marines are low HP, so the Marines die pretty quickly when they get some shots off. Hell of a defense from Clem. This could have been so much worse. And Clem is able to keep it alive, keep it kicking, and keep himself in fantastic position here in this game 1. Over to the far left side, Marine kind of came across there to have a bit of a scout. Marine coming back up, Stalker there to knock that Marine down pretty much instantly, so Marine will fall, and our medevacs will load up and take these Marines and Marauders back across the map. Clem knows that Astrea does not have the tech to realistically defend a larger bio army that has stim and just access to all of the upgrades that bio armies love to have, so you can just get in here and load. I think he really feels confident about just taking a straight up fight. The Robe was obviously built in this weird position as well from the early game, trying to hide what he was up to, so that's just an easy target for Clem. Also, Widowmine hits the Stalkers, they can't blink away. We're going to start killing pylons, powering the gateways. Clem just taking the easy picks right now, just making the most of what he's given, right? Absolutely, and having a good time of it. Like I say, these gateway units just don't put out the damage they need to really stop Clem from finding success at the moment. The Widowmine shot potentially there, but the Observer helps to provide the detection needed, and well, Stalker's still trying to stand up for themselves. I would feel good if Astrea was buying time for anything in particular. What's he buying time for in this game? Well, he's buying time to just keep on building more of the same, unfortunately. You know, like, he's not doing anything behind this. He's not on his way to Blink, he's just on his way to more unupgraded gateway units. So then what stops Clem killing you with the next round of units, right? What stops Clem keeping on trading out in that way? Well, Widowmine's getting set up at the front. Probes do transfer to the third base, so that is a trade or a transfer that Clem didn't quite see. So the third does get online, at least from Astrea, having to rebuild the Robo, the only tech he had, now taken out. Well, there's at least a battery here, man. These slow Zars just look so unfortunate, right? We'll have the Widowmine surviving as well as it gets burrowed just about in the end. Coming forward once more, and just going to be seeing a couple of these sentries getting taken down. Stalker's taking some hits. Going to Bioforce through to the left. Trying to get set up here as well, do as much as possible. I mean, on top of the third base, now you really have to fight this position as Astrea, and you don't have any batteries here either, so this doesn't exactly help you. He's on his way to a Colossus, which I do like. I think if there's any sort of tech you might be able to get to that might work for you here, Colossus or so, might just about be it, but Clem has obviously got a third CC behind this himself. He's still trading great. He's got +1s. These trades are really just so good for him. And yeah, I mean, you're warping in cells to basically just throw off the inevitable, but what else are you really meant to do here as Astrea? Just try your very best, and that's exactly what he's doing. Clem's reinforcements might just be too much this time around. Widowmine's actually going to start blowing up, but they didn't get targeted down in time, and that is going to be enough. Clem is going to pick up game number 1 in pretty awesome fashion, quite frankly. just about able to hang on in there. And Clem is able to take one map at least here for Team Liquid today in the World Team League. In the bottom right-hand side, our blue Terran is going to be Team Liquid's Clem here on Moondance. Top left, this is Alpha X Astrea. Is this live? Yes, it is. Hello and welcome. How you doing? Live casting, live players today. Well, Team League moving from the usual Friday, Saturday, and Sunday because of DreamHack China this past weekend. So we do have World Team League 6 days of the week this week instead of just the usual 3. So hell yeah to that, if you ask me. I think that's kind of cool at least. Not sure about you guys, but I take it. I call it a victory. Clem, like I say, sick defense, and obviously Astrea really wanted to bring it to Clem. Really said just all out, I want to go in, I want to win this, I want to get the job done here. But wasn't able to quite finish up, and it started so well for Astrea too. It felt like he was getting so much done at first. He was really finding good value, he was trading nicely. The Prism didn't really take any damage early either, so he was able to keep it safe and keep it warping in. Yeah, I see the discussion about the robo facility. The robo facility is clearly built so that the prism pops and you can get across the map as soon as possible with the prism. I don't think the robo was being placed carelessly. In fact, you have to place it pretty precisely to put it down there, right? And have a pylon in that place, so yeah, I'm pretty sure that was just Astrea playing to the map and playing to his timing window and improving it as much as possible. Make it as difficult as possible for Clem to defend. The sooner you hit, generally the better you do in those scenarios. Probes here to try and help out. This is because we want to make sure this Reaper doesn't do too much. Adept is going to chase, but will not get the kill. Just gets a little shot off. We do have Clem going straight to 3 command centers here on Moondance. We just have that in-base expansion, so Clem saying this time, hey look, I feel like you've done your aggressive attack. I feel like you've played your aggro. I'm going to try and play a nice kind of eco-macro-focused game this time around, so I'm going to switch it up a little bit. Reaper really wants to try and find out what the hell's going on right now, but just so far has not been able to, so I think we'll just for now have to live with that at least. And yeah, Clem's just going to get up to 3 racks behind this as well, so 3 CCs, 3 barracks. Heavy bio with economy play. Wow, we'll wait to see just what Astrea wants to do in terms of his tech choices in these early games so far. Not going to do too much of anything. Stalker's going to get a little ping pong on the Reaper, and the Reaper finally goes down. It's a robo from Astrea. Can't imagine. I mean, he built a second gateway earlier this time around, so if anything here, this robo should just be a prism and an observer, harassing information, right? He has his own very quick third base, so both players just playing like a super macro-oriented game here early with fast 3 bases. And yeah, Astrea just wants to make sure he's not going to be in too much trouble straight away. Obviously, an Immortal can help you defend more than Blink would in this scenario, I think, as well, so I think that kind of makes a lot of sense initially, as Marines get some good damage done in the hallucination. Bay and the Forge continuing through here as well, and we do see the Twilight Council building from Astrea as well. Just getting all of that online, as we do have ourselves the 1-1 upgrade, stim pack, etc. Continue to build up as well on the side of Clem, so just getting all of this set up to rumble. So far, so good. One Marine just gonna wander forward a little bit here as we do have our 1-1 upgrades still continuing through. Stim and Combat Shield all on the way out. And obviously because it's just a fast 3 base on both sides, it's a pretty chilled out, kind of slow going game. We will see a 4th base quickly from Astrea, and Clem scouts that, so he knows this is really just kind of eco right now. It's just base after base after base, absolutely non-stop so far. We just want to keep on setting up into as much economy as possible, as our Bioforce is going to just come around up the center here for a few moments. Do you have Colossi starting to take to the stage? You got to be careful here as Clem. You don't want to just run into a Colossus and give your kind of units up freely. He's being followed by an Observer. I can't feel as though this is going to turn out well for him. I feel like he's lucky Astrea didn't have force fields ready to go onto that Bioforce, because that could have been absolutely disastrous if we'd seen some of that coming through. Because then Clem would lose a lot of units very quickly, right? And then, like I say, you really are just in a ton of trouble. Well, 4th CC from Clem will build on location, and so I guess at this point in time, Astrea is seeing if he can set himself up to, yeah, basically, Astrea wants to see if he can set himself up to just kind of perhaps push onto that 4th base. I feel like Astrea is going to hit a pushing point sooner than Clem will in the next little while. I mean, Clem's had his push point with the bio upgrades, so the next opportunity should be Astrea's with maybe kind of enough Colossi to actually go across the map and maybe make some damage happen. Catch Clem untacked for those Colossi. Definite possibilities in that regard. The Bioforce still coming up this left-hand side, Clem. Move up, move down, move all around. We'll see. The game just doesn't feel like either player is really set to commit just yet. We're still waiting on a lot of upgrades, a lot of setting up. Very stark contrast to the last game, which was obviously just go from minute 0. Well, it was absolutely non-stop because of the initial commitment from Astrea. Obviously, very committed attack from him. Just moving across, and we do see another Nexus just getting dropped down, so just getting that into position here, getting that placed. And a little scan to help pick off an Observer as Clem still just maneuvering around the map and just looking to see if there are any opportunities for him so far. So far, not really finding much luck of it though. Army of Astrea pulling back to the upper left side. Plus the attack coming in, +1 armor, charge as well. 4 prisoners also coming out here. All of this still just coming through. Our refinery on the front will finish up, and we will have ourselves a Marine. Gonna fight this Zealot for a couple of moments, but Zealot will swipe that down and kill it off. Yeah, Zealot continues to chase that Marine down as our Bioforce over here will pick up the Zealot. Getting that out of the way. Again, just a lot of posturing, guys. Really not a lot of action just yet, as these two seemingly happy to just play this drawn-out scenario. Prism will unload a few Zealots, we'll warp the rest in. Just going to be seeing our Stalkers and Sentries pushing forward. We do have our Bio Army ready to fight here, so all of this posturing, all this weighing. Like I said, it did feel like Astrea was going to be the player with the next opportunity to really attack. Hit Clem before he's teched up against what the Protoss is teched into. I did kind of feel like that, although, well, Astrea took the initial supply lead. Clem bounces back nicely because he starts to clean up those attacking Zealots. The planetary on the frontier should help Clem a lot. Being able to hold this location a little bit more easily should go a long way for him. It's just going to be seen at Colossi still pinging through this planetary fortress for the moment. Doing a reasonable job of it. Disruptive shot fires, a couple Marines and Marauders going down. Our Vikings will press forward as well. Going to go after those Colossi. We actually get rid of the Prism here as the Bioforce will continue through. And this is going to be Clem trying to push down this ramp. Can he actually get rid of this entire army? An EMP remains, so he can actually get rid of the Archons easily too, and the Vikings will chase, kill off one more Colossus before he gets back to a super battery or anything, and Clem finds himself a massive win in the middle of the map, clearing up this force of Astrea. Didn't look good for Clem at first, but turns out to be A-okay. Well, Clem turning that one around. I gotta say impressive as we do see Astrea, obviously 5 bases moving into 6. There's still a big macro game that we've got on our hands right now. Just a huge situation here where we've just not been, I mean, like I say, just bases after bases, just been eco after eco so far. And obviously now one big fight that both players seem to be resetting from pretty comfortably, seem to be okay coming out the tail end of this. Zealots warp in, that's Astrea pretty much maxed. By being maxed though, it means he can't actually warp in like harassing Zealots, you know, from Prism or harassing DTs. Stark Shrine on the way up, obviously not ready yet. Playing that 97 probe count, so we'll have a lot of eco behind this. So he wants to trade, because with this economy, if you're not trading, then you're not rebuilding and you're not making use of the probe lead. So then you're letting Clem get more army, and then you're going to have Clem who's able to maybe just jump on your army and completely wipe you. The Disruptor Shot completely whiffs, and the second one will do the same. The good news for Astrea is at least those Disruptor Shots kept Clem back a little bit. Without keeping Clem back, the army on the right side would have been in range so quickly. And that's the only good thing that happened there for Astrea, because otherwise that was another disastrous fight. Clem getting into great positions, swarming around Astrea, and able to collapse in towards him a couple times here. Doing a good job of finding himself very good fights in situations that don't necessarily lend themselves to being the most incredible of fights straight up at the start. Yeah, credit to Clem. Do you feel like he's playing a pretty solid game, and just like, it's not like Astrea is really doing things wrong or incorrectly even. I just feel like he's I just feel like he's not able to kick good fights, because Clem's getting fantastic fights. Does catch a couple of medevacs here. Now we've gotten rid of the Colossi. Astrea is really just going to double down on further disruptor play. Obviously, further disruptor play kind of means that Astrea is going to be able to deal a little bit better, perhaps, with those surrounds. Because the Colossi are very ineffective when being surrounded. The Disruptors obviously can, at least with good, with good shots, can actually still do okay. Gotta say, the splits initially from Clem were nutty, no? Hello? Those splits were insane. He was so good with them, and Clem once again is clearing out an army of Astrea and forcing that massive 97 probe economy to come to Astrea's rescue. Holy crap, those splits were so good, allowing him to get really on top of the army so much sooner than expected. Immediate repair on the planetary as well. And Astrea is not being given any opportunity anywhere so far. Clem is all over him at the moment. Absolutely all over him. Well, the Bioforce hanging out around the right-hand side, and just going to be seeing the army of Astrea. Sending this in again. I mean, Astrea can remax quickly. I'd love to see, I mean, resource losses on the screen actually 17.5 to 11,500, so Clem is trading so much better. He's not taking eco damage as well. He's keeping his bases online. That's a very important part of this for Clem, because if he was losing his bases, he would run into a lot of trouble himself here, as Zealots and DTs will launch themselves onto this planetary fortress. It will go down. Planetary denied. Scanning forward, keeping an eye on this group of units from Astrea. Obviously, Clem needs to know where this army is to get the jumps that he's been getting. He's going to jump on the Disruptors. He gets rid of a couple, then he just lifts and gets out. He loses one medevac. It wasn't even the full medevac. Liberator across the map will get rid of some of these probes. Finally, Astrea's economy will actually take some hits, and that's something we haven't seen anything of so far, actually. He's taking a lot of losses. Just going to start digging into some of the, you know, one of the only things that's kept Astrea in the game, because the engagements definitely haven't been doing that. This has to feel good for Astrea, though. A chance to actually take a bit of a better fight here with Clem, maybe a bit more cornered. Not actually surrounding. Clem immediately kind of takes units to the left. I thought he was going to go down this ramp and then up the other. I thought he was just like, no, I'm not fighting you unless I have a surround, right? Astrea's going to try and reposition to the left side. When he does this, though, blinking forward of his disruptors, it does feel like he leaves Clem an opportunity to do well. So outstreaming on the right side. Clem will lose a command center that was morphing into a defensive plant. No, it must have been an orbital, right? There's no gas refunded. He loses a CC. He's got a Liberator and a few units coming across to deal with these Zealots. He loses 15 SCVs, though, so Astrea getting good eco damage done. Gonna jump on this army, and a Disruptor goes down, and Astrea feels like he's building a triple Disruptor right now. Oh boy, does he need triple Disruptor at the end of the day here. Like, he really does just need it. Unless he's in a whole bunch of trouble. Coming up the left side, gonna knock down this Nexus. Now Stalker's coming forward. Liberator gonna get picked off. Astrea's back up to 95 work. He's gonna kill another orbital of Clem. Clem might actually be in eco trouble here. Like, Astrea's army is not good right now. It's really missing any kind of tech, but does that matter? Not necessarily. Not straight away. 9 Dark Templar build, and we do see a few extra Zealots going to warp in with this. Going to be seeing the army of Clem back up the right-hand side. Just going to be seeing the couple of probes going to get picked off. And then some EMPs. Liberator is going to get sieged up, and we will continue to the upper right side, maybe go after some of these cannons. Bottom left-hand side, we're going to have to see the SCVs repaired, but I think they're a little bit too late, so Clem's going to lose another base. Clem is in a serious kind of base problem right now. He's just losing too many of them repeatedly, and that's becoming a huge issue for sure. Clem is having some serious problems right now. Something he perhaps needs to fix up a bit. As Zealots will come down this right-hand side. Bioforce will turn back around to fight. The Disruptor shot comes by. Liberators will just sit here and camp out. Obviously, with the Liberator, I mean, Clem's army quality is 100% better than Astrea's. It's so good for him at the moment. That's the absolutely the best thing about this as we aim for the upper right. Cannons going down, batteries going down. It's going to be seeing our SCV surrounding. Disruptor shot fires through, and just going to be seeing more Disruptors continued in. A lot of SCVs will fall. Turns this into a base trade. I don't like a base trade for Astrea because more than anything, he just doesn't have a way to ever kill Clem's army. I feel like at some stage, you do need to actually still be able to wipe out Clem's army, no, in a base trade scenario. Unless you really, I mean, okay, this isn't it. Okay, the Disruptors are it, though. And Clem has to pull back from these Disruptors, hits a couple of shots. Lib sieging up. Clem might just want to lift up. He isn't lifting up. He's probably afraid of the Stalkers, but lifting there might have been the call. Suddenly, Astrea's army supply is equal to Clem's. Originally, this was not looking to be the case at all. Clem lost a lot of ghosts here. He lost a lot of units. And Astrea now maybe does have a way to fight it. Plus, he's had that income still going his way, so he continues to build more. Unloading bio units into the main base. Let's see, we're coming to the tail end of this game right now, and Clem is just trying to hang on, trying to do as much as he can, but his army really went down. The last couple of moments really just were not it at all for Clem, not what he needed to be doing. And unfortunately, I think that might be costing him this game. Wow. That's kind of crazy. I mean, while StarCraft 2 is this Liberator's getting blocked, have been saved because the Stalkers got blocked by the Disruptors as well. Wow. And Astrea is just coming out with too much control. He's got all the bases on the left-hand side in his favor as well. It looks like Astrea's got this one kind of on lockdown, guys, as we have Moon Dance. I really feel like going the way of... yeah, going the way of Astrea. What was it, 5-1 victory file for X today. Great map score for them. Fantastic games here in this set of games. Again, just a best of two maps played between the teams in this Team League format. 2 maps played between the players in this Team League format. Clem's still doing what he can with Liberators. He's not ready to give it up yet. His army supply is still decent. It's the income I'm worried about, although Astrea actually doesn't have as much income as I thought he would. I guess he's got a lot of workers not currently mining. I feel like that's going to be resolved very shortly, though. I feel like Astrea's income's about to go bounding upwards. Maybe now is Clem's chance to go with an army and to actually do something, because given time, Astrea, surely, with the income lead, will just be that much better off. Disruptor shot that goes flying forward, doesn't quite land. He's trying to get the turret, and that's going to force a scan as well. As now you see Blinking Forward getting rid of the libs. Disruptor shot to zone. Clem does split away from it pretty nicely, but that still doesn't stop the fact that it did a good job of zoning. It did what it needed to push those units away and out of the equation for a few moments. The Valiant's over to the right, going to grab a DT. He's just going to be able to get rid of that as well. And again, is this looking to be a little bit too much for Clem as Astrea keeps him pushed back at the moment. Fire Force going to come forward, knock down a set of rocks, some Liberators sieging up. The Zealot Stalker Disruptor army on the left is going to take a couple of hits. The Liberator shots will come through and land for some damage. Clem's going to find himself on top of this base, perhaps, as he tries to push into the high ground here. Another Disruptor shot that comes flying forward, trying to land another one, trying to do, again, exactly the same. Bio gets rid of the rocks and just going to be seeing still our army try and push forward here. Disruptor shot gets split away from Clem's army supply is not bigger than Astrea's though, and for a long time in this game it was a lot larger. Here you go, Astrea with a fight that I think actually just ends the game, right? Because I don't think he stops chasing this down at this point. Hasn't even had to use Disruptor shots yet, as he'll use them now. I guess he doesn't want to chase into this high ground position, but well, he could definitely go down to the south and deny that base. He's already setting up the Zealot DT attack to hit the right side base as well. He will lose one Disruptor. I feel like Astrea's done the dislodging. He's gotten rid of the Liberators, the one thing that was really kind of holding Clem to some kind of tough spot, as now he actually hit a good Disruptor shot though. So while Clem found the attack on the right side, he's going to get wiped out in the bottom. The Planetary going down, and Clem realizing that this is GG's. Astrea gets the W. Big win for Astrea, just for sake of kind of playing a cool ass game, right? GG's, and Astrea gets the 1-1. Overall, it's a 5-1 victory for Alpha X.